We're going to be covering some of the hottest NFT news you missed this week. Now, the NFT markets have been a little bit slow. Crypto in general has pumped just a little bit. So in this video, we are going to be covering all the hottest news that you missed this week. Diving right into the macro markets, everything seems to be somewhat stable for the most part over the last 7 days, or really the last day. You know, Ethereum pumped slightly, right? And we're really just talking about like a couple $100s over here. So nothing too crazy going on. It's really interesting on Twitter if you notice that when things go up like 10%, everyone's like, oh my God, we're so back. But the reality is, you know, people are just engagement farming, and you really have to look at things from a macro perspective. Just because the price of Ethereum goes up like 10% or 5%, it doesn't mean we're back, right? Because there's so many factors. You always want to be looking at the S&P 500 to see how macroly things are, which will in turn affect the crypto markets, which in turn also affects the NFT markets. Now, diving into some of the hotter NFT news, we're first going to be talking about Memeland. So Captains is going to be Memeland's, you know, main collection, right? It's sitting at a 4.26 ETH. Right now, they are really pushing this campaign for meme coin farming. Now, if you didn't already know, meme coin is going to be Memeland's premier coin, which they're planning to launch very soon, which they plan to launch in October. And they also plan to list this coin on many different exchanges, trying to get as much volume and people buying the coin as possible, because the more volume there is, you know, the more price action there is as well. And then there's also arbitrage opportunities, or opportunities to also make money if you're a trader or if you're someone that's farming these tokens, right? So how does farming work? Essentially, they want you to complete these quests, collect meme points, and those meme points are somehow translated into tokens. How does this work? Well, they actually had a blog post about that. Basically, here's what's going on. You basically have to add this thing like love meme coin to your Twitter username, which is why you might see a lot of people be doing that. Change your Twitter banner to one of Memeland's banner below, right? And these are the banners over here. From there, you're going to register on farming on their dashboard, the website, complete daily task, probably like GM or Ahoy, or, you know, something that, you know, tags Memeland and gets more awareness. You collect points and you harvest soon. So I'll give you my personal thoughts on this. The first is it's an interesting campaign to raise awareness for a token, because if you think about it, NFT market, it's pretty small right now, like very small. Like, to give you an idea of how small it is, if you're looking on the, you know, the top collections over, you know, the last, let's say like 24 hours, right? The volume you're getting is, you know, Bored Ape is in the 2000s, but the other ones are in the hundreds, right? So even if you're at 17 ETH volume for the day, you're still in the top like 36, right? So the volume is actually very low compared to tokens, meaning like tokens are like 100 times bigger than NFTs. So of course, many projects, especially NFT projects, are positioned in a way where NFT is a way to bring a community together in order to launch a token, which is the true moneymaker in crypto, right? This is going to be the moneymaker for Memeland, right? This is what's going to allow them to build an ecosystem of whatever they plan to do in the future. Everyone who has, let's say, a Captains, or, you know, they have Memeland assets, or NFTs, I should call them, they're going to be promoting this because they're going to get more tokens and coins, and then they can sell them when they want. They can keep them and speculate on the future, whatever the case is. But in a way, they are getting paid to be a promoter. And also for Memeland, it's smart because not only do you get your holders to support your brand, keeps the floor prices high, but also when Memeland goes to all these different exchanges and they say, hey guys, we want to list on your exchange. Here's all the supporters in our community talking about us. We're going to bring so much volume onto your exchange. And the exchange is going to be like, oh, well, looks legit. And they're going to list it on, and Memeland's going to get more volume into their coin. For Memeland, I'm guessing they have somewhat of a vesting schedule, so they can sell their tokens maybe in the beginning, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. I'm not sure what the vesting schedule is for the team and investors and stuff like that, but they definitely have a vesting schedule. It's just a really interesting way to use NFTs as a form of marketing for a token. And you could also argue that, let's say like what Yuga Labs did with ApeCoin and using Bored Ape Yacht Club to kind of promote that coin, it's a very similar strategy from my perspective. All right, next project we are going to be covering is going to be Pixelmon. Now, Pixelmon is going to be an NFT game. It is a game, so I'm not sure if they're going to have a token or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were. This game is going to be launching in October 24th, which is very soon, or maybe it's already out by the time of this recording is out. It's going to be a mini game, right? So the idea here is that they're going to be releasing mini games to kind of build the attention for their real game that's going to be coming out later in the future. This one's going to be like Flappy Birds, but it's going to use Kevin the Adventurer, which Kevin was a meme for anyone who was in the NFT space during that time. But if you're not, then it's totally fine. So it's basically a game where if you play this thing, you got to pre-register. on their website, and you can find more information about that on the Twitter page. Just type in Pixelmon and you're there. They have a prize pool of $10,000, so whoever gets the most points is going to potentially win some money. And also people who participate are going to also randomly be given money as well, so it's just a way to bring attention to this project. I mean, I kind of been following Pixelmon for quite some time. We did an interview with their CEO Julio in the past, which you can also check out on the channel. They are building a game, you know what I mean, and they do post regular updates, and they're, you know, going to all the different events and trying to make sure everyone knows who they are. So it definitely is an interesting project where they're really putting in the effort, I would say. So if you want to check out Pixelmon, you know, check out their game, you know, The Adventures of Kevin. The next project we are going to be talking about is going to be Artifact's CloneX. Now, CloneX, you know, did take a dive when it comes to the floor price. You know, it's like 1.2 floor right now, whereas, you know, in the past it went all the way to 17 ETH during a bull, which is pretty crazy. But the news that they have now is going to be that they are launching another set of sneakers. So physical digital sneakers that you can buy. So you get the digital NFT version. And also, if you pay around like $220, I believe, you're going to be able to forge it, meaning you are able to get the physical version of that shoe, right? So, you know, these are going to be some of the samples of the shoe. If you go on their website, it's going to look like this room in here. So it's actually a pretty nice apartment, New York City kind of vibe. You click on these pictures here, it'll show you some of the products that they are selling, right? So again, each one of these are going to be $222, I believe, or $220. So the different versions of it. So then also they have like this 3D mock-up of this one, which you cannot buy for $200. So I'm not sure exactly where this bone undead one is going to be, but that's probably the coolest one. Maybe it'll just be like an NFT, but the other ones you can get the physical collection of. Now, it's kind of confusing on how this all works because there's no information on their website, to be honest. So if you want to learn more, you actually have to go to the FAQ, right? So this is where they show the pricing and the more about the products and how exactly you buy a pair. Long story short, you have to just have the base sneaker here, and then you're able to have opportunity to buy the sneakers later, right? So if you want to learn more, you know, check out all the details there. Now, what I did want to talk about when it comes to learning from this is I really feel like Artifact just showed us a master class on how to like run the crypto game, right? Because if you think about it, in the past when Artifact first came out, they definitely were one of the hottest projects. When they minted, they actually did around $67 million in mint revenue, right? Millions on royalties. And then, you know, during the bull run, it's like they kept airdropping people like the monoliths and the pods and all these things. So if you actually minted a CloneX and you got all the airdrops and you just sold everything, you're actually super profitable, right? So they did play the game. They also sold to Nike for an undisclosed amount. Who knows how much they sold for, right? So there's like another cash out period right there. It is just kind of like going through NFT history, right? So that floor price was pretty high. And then a lot of the holders felt like they were just being treated as consumers, meaning that CloneX was basically Artifact assets, or NFTs were just access passes to buy physical digital collectibles, which you had to pay for. So they stopped giving free airdrops and stuff like that. So they did do the free stuff during the bull run, and then during the bear, they got more realistic. They were like, all right, let's make some money, or like, we got to generate sales. We can't just keep airdropping people. And so that's why the floor price went down pretty hard. A lot of the whales support left. And then there are people who still hold. I actually have a CloneX as well, because people are, you know, fans of sneakers and stuff like that. And, you know, when it comes to who's the best at 3D digital assets right now, is Artifact Studios Nike, right? Even the floor price is down, there is a niche audience, and not really niche because the sneaker market is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? I feel like they're in the best position to capture that market. Even if they treat their holders like consumers, a lot of people still want to consume. And also, when people buy these sneakers, there's a possibility that these sneakers will increase in value, just like how if you buy a pair of like Nike SBs or Jordans, they may increase in value as well, right? So Nike also treats their customers like consumers, but at the end of the day, because the demand is high and if they can control supply, you know, this is definitely, in my opinion, a really good branch for them to make a lot of money in the physical digital collectibles, right? So in my opinion, it's like a masterclass of like taking advantage of the bull run, making a ton of money, selling to Nike, and then even during the bear, continue to sell physical digital collectibles and continue to profit as well. So it's just like profit, which is pretty crazy. So I think there's a lot to study there. And I know that, you know, a lot of people have their different opinions on Artifact, but at the end of the day, like, you know, they are able to generate a lot of enterprise value from doing all these things. All right, next project we're going to talk about is going to be Flooring Protocol, and it's not really an NFT project. It's more of a place to buy and sell NFTs. How does it work exactly? So essentially, it's just they took NFTs, they put it in the vault, they fractionalized it, so then you can buy like a fraction of this NFT. So not everyone's going to want to spend 25 ETH on a Bored Ape, but maybe they want to have 1% of that Bored Ape, and so they can buy these tokens that represent that. Actually, you know, the first time I saw this was way back in the day. CyberKongz actually did that for their CyberKongz Genesis, because at the time each one of those were like 400k, so they fractionalized that. But I guess everybody forgets, right? So now this is more of a professional looking kind of website where they have multiple collections where you can buy different NFTs. You know, there's Azuki, DGods, basically those are just the ones that have higher volume. They're going to be here. The details of how exactly it works, right? It's like, I mean, we don't have to get into all the nerd stuff, but essentially, you know, the token represents the value of the NFT, and also there's arbitrage opportunity because that token that represents the NFT, you know, it's not always one-to-one, right? Sometimes the value of that token is less, sometimes the value is more if there's a premium. So you just have to be very mindful of that. Anytime you have to buy a token or NFT that represents something else, know that the NFT itself might be worth a lot, but the token might be worth nothing because there's no buyers, right? So there's always that risk as well. So yeah, I mean, be careful when you're using these kind of platforms, but definitely check it out if you want to buy and sell fractionalized NFTs in that way. And so with that said, that's everything we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Patrick Dang. Link is also in the description, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one.